The meaning of life is this, that it has no meaning to say that life has no meaning. Niels Bohr. When Niels Bohr accepted the motto Contraria sunt complementa, contradicting realities are in essence complementary, he was completing one full oscillation of the pendulum of Western philosophy. Material reality was revealed before the seeing eye of the scientist as a system of complexities too subtle for human intelligence to sort out. Werner Heisenberg's uncertainty principle touched on metaphysical reality as the basis of physical reality. A subatomic particle could, as it were, hide its velocity while revealing its position to the measuring apparatus, or hide its position while indicating its velocity. Is it after all a spark of the mind stuff that we recognize as a particle of the atom? In Paris, in 1982, Alain Aspect experimentally proved that two photons could exchange messages by signaling each other, thus undermining not only Einsteinian relativity, but even the very structure of the material world. Narayana Guru says in his Atmapacha Shatakam, 100 verse of self-instruction, "Particles there are innumerable in the earth, and this earth does not exist apart from particles. Matter similarly abides in mind and mind in matter. When cogitated on, they are simply one." In the language of the rishis, duality is the word for such a pass as the present one. The finite intellect can never solve the riddle because what we call intellect is but a product of duality. But where we can't break through or cross a barrier, we can attempt to transcend it. There is no other way. To transcend it, we have to press into service all those inner faculties at the disposal of our human personality, because we are born to be ever on the move, and because on the move we do not know how to waver and step back. We require guidance, a firm hand that can pick us up and initiate us into the process of self-discovery. Truth contains ample mystery in itself. When all is known, perhaps one feels that there is very little to be known, in fact. To experience what lies deep in our knowledge is the crux of our inquiry. What is called experiential empathy is the one thing needful. Listen, ponder intensely, and live what you realize. The words of an Upanishadic teacher must echo in the heart of a true wisdom seeker. The actual exhortation which the teacher made was to go deep into what we heard. The term for it is jnana. Jnana is not going out of oneself, but going deep into the core of oneself. Therefore, we use the term experiential empathy. The English word experience is inadequate and inappropriate to bring out the true meaning of jnana. Ex means outside, but we are instructed to gather together into one center. Upanishad is meant to be a context to imbibe the hidden truth of the absolute all-permeating God. Upanishad means that which keeps you close to the revealer of truth and shows you intimate secrets of truth. Truth means a universally established reality. What establishes the reality of a thing is a sound knowledge of the feasibility of a system, which reveals its coordinated structure, which reasonably explains its function. Thus, reality has an innate integrity. It can be seen in the inherence of an operational force with which a minute particle preserves its nature and identity. The intrinsic identity of a thing's uniqueness is its dharma. This law of dharma or uniqueness holds good for everything in this world, because the innate principle of manifestation has in it a homogeneity. This homogeneous operational principle which governs everything is Isa, the Upanishadic concept of God. Isa or Aspara is conceived both as an immanent principle as well as the principle of supreme transcendence. It is the dynamic process of creation. Sitting in a pollen dust, he is smaller than the pollen dust. It is the same Aspara or God whom we meet as one of the immeasurable dimensions in the processing of galactical extravagance. Thus, we should have a pulsating interest which can centralize itself in the subtlest nucleus of the tiniest in the finite, and has an expanding girth that can include the universes, known and unknown. As the interior structure of the inconceivable supreme in our consciousness with all its ability to cognize and judge, God reverberates between the core and the periphery of cosmic pulsation. Esfera is both the substance and its mass. To pulsate in unison with cosmic throb is our commitment when we opt for God realization. It is simple if you do not have a meddling ego, and it is complicated if we want to have separate frames of reference for every notion that we forge in our individuated mind. This is a beautiful world. When you admire the rising sun or moon, should you say, "This is my sun or my moon"? Even without that bogus identity, the sun shines in perfect beauty, the sheen of the moon is poetic and admirable. Even without establishing your personal ownership, anything can reveal its true beauty. All the Rishi says is to forego your ego. Give up your false claims of identification. Even then the world will continue as it is with all its richness and all its agreement to be Esfera. So, the Rishi says, Tena Tyaktina, forego your ego, Bunjitha, enjoy this world. With this realization the strange becomes familiar, the alien becomes one's own. There is no more any reason to grab. The Rishi continues to say, Magrita, do not grab. Whose is this wealth? Whose else can it be but yours? Such is the beautiful invitation to the path or realization when a Rishi like Narayana Guru says Kariku ne Mukthane. So be happy forever and in every way. Such is our blessedness.